Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with some, insightful discussions on the latest in tech and gadgets. And today we are diving into three pretty fascinating topics. We've got Bitcoin's climb toward a mind-blowing $84,000. Then we'll look at how climate tech investment is adapting to political changes. And finally, we'll explore a company making waves with their digital workers. Okay, so let's unpack all this, starting with Bitcoin's wild ride. Did you know that Bitcoin-related stocks like Coinbase are up almost 75% in just a week?
It's pretty wild, yeah. And this isn't just hype either. There are some serious trends fueling this surge. One factor is the current U.S. administration's stance. They seem to be much more open to cryptocurrencies than previous administrations.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, a supportive regulatory environment can definitely boost investor confidence. But I'm curious, are there any specific policies or regulations that have directly impacted Bitcoin's recent price movements?
Well, the SEC's approach to Bitcoin ETFs is a big one. When they first approved those Bitcoin ETFs, we saw a pretty significant price surge. But things have cooled down a bit as that initial excitement faded. Now everyone's watching to see what their next move will be. It could either stabilize the market or create even more volatility.
So it's like a regulatory roller coaster.
This makes me wonder, what does this mean for someone like me who's just starting to dip their toes into crypto? Is now a good time to invest, or should we wait and see how things play out?
Well, it's always a good idea to proceed with caution, especially in a market as volatile as crypto. Remember, there are long-term factors at play here, like institutional adoption and competition from other cryptocurrencies like Solana and even Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, really, the one that started as a joke.
Yep, even Dogecoin. It just goes to show you how unpredictable this market can be. But seriously, the point is that these factors will ultimately shape Bitcoin's future, even more so than short-term regulatory decisions. So you're saying don't get caught up in the hype. Look at the bigger picture. Now, I know you've got some fascinating insights on climate tech. This is a field where you'd think political changes would make investors nervous, right?
You'd think so, yeah. But seasoned climate tech investors, they think differently. They're used to writing out political cycles. They know that building a successful climate tech company, it takes time, often a decade or more. Individual policies might come and go, but the need for climate solutions, that isn't going away.
So they're in it for the long haul. They see beyond the political noise. Can you give us an example of a company that's, successfully navigated these political shifts?
Absolutely. Think of Beyond Meat. They've been backed by venture capital for years, and now they've successfully mainstreamed plant-based protein. Regardless of which way the political winds are blowing, their success shows that long-term vision and commitment can pay off in the climate tech space.
That's a great example. And it's not just about food, right? There are so many other areas where climate tech is making an impact.
Exactly. One area that's particularly exciting is generative science. These are AI models designed specifically for fields like chemistry, biology, and physics. Imagine AI helping us develop breakthroughs in battery technology or carbon capture. That's the potential we're talking about.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Can you give us a specific example of how these generative science models are being used in the real world?
Sure. Take a company like Aonics. They're using these models to help discover new materials for longer-lasting, more efficient batteries. They're essentially speeding up the process of scientific discovery, which is essential if we want to, rapidly develop the technologies we need to combat climate change.
So it's not just science fiction. It's actually happening.
Mhm.
But even with these amazing advancements, political uncertainty can still be a roadblock, can't it? What about the current administration's stance on climate-friendly policies?
It's true that some investors are worried about, potential policy rollbacks. However, there's reason for optimism. The Inflation Reduction Act, for example, has allocated a significant amount of funding for climate tech.
Right, I've heard about that. But isn't that just benefiting blue states?
That's where it gets interesting. Red states are actually receiving 3 times more funding for projects like EV plants and battery manufacturing.
Really? I hadn't realized that. It sounds like there's growing bipartisan support for climate tech, even if the motivations differ. Is this purely driven by economic opportunity, or are we seeing a genuine shift in attitudes towards climate change in those regions?
It's hard to say for sure. It's probably a combination of factors, but
Yeah,
it's a positive sign nonetheless. And it's not just government funding. We're seeing a surge in private investment in alternative energy sources too.
I've definitely noticed that. It seems like everyone's talking about nuclear and geothermal energy these days.
There's a good reason for that. As demand for electricity skyrockets, think electric vehicles, Bitcoin mining, massive data centers, our grid is going to need a major upgrade. Both nuclear and geothermal offer high-capacity, low-emission energy, which is exactly what we need.
So we've got long-term investments, groundbreaking scientific advancements, and even some bipartisan support. It makes you wonder, can all of this really make a difference in combating climate change?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But I believe that with sustained commitment and innovation, we can absolutely make significant progress. It's not just about one solution, it's about a multifaceted approach. And it's encouraging to see so much activity and investment in this space.
Fingers crossed. Now, before we jump into the fascinating world of digital workers, let's take a moment to explore this company called 11x. They're making waves with their innovative approach to business automation. In fact, they just relocated from London to San Francisco, the heart of the tech world. What's so special about them?
Well, they just secured a whopping $50 million in funding to scale their digital worker technology. And these aren't just your average productivity tools. We're talking about virtual entities with roles, skills, and even faces.
Hold on, they have faces. So like virtual avatars that do your work for you.
Exactly. They're designed to manage entire workflows autonomously. Imagine having a whole team of virtual employees working around the clock.
Okay, now that's something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But how is this different from, say, using a chatbot to automate customer service or something?
It's a whole different ballgame. 11x's digital workers are designed to handle much more complex tasks. They're like specialized experts in their virtual fields. It's a fundamental shift in how we view software.
So are you saying that this is as big a change as when Salesforce revolutionized things with cloud-based software 20 years ago?
It has the potential to be just as impactful, if not more so. Think about it. 11x is building software that can think, learn, and adapt. It's not just automating tasks, it's automating entire jobs.
That's a bold statement. But tell me, how are they going to compete with giants like Salesforce?
They're not shying away from the challenge. In fact, they believe their native architecture gives them an edge. What that means is they've built their platform from the ground up with automation in mind. Other companies are trying to, bolt AI onto existing systems, but 11x's technology is inherently designed for this new era of work.
So it's like they're building a spaceship from scratch while others are trying to add rockets to a car.
Exactly. And that's why investors are so excited about 11x. They see the potential for this technology to, disrupt entire industries.
This raises a big question. What happens to human workers in this scenario? Are we all going to be replaced by robots?
That's a valid concern, and it's a topic that deserves a deep dive of its own. But it's not necessarily a doom and gloom scenario, just as the Industrial Revolution transformed the workforce. The rise of AI and automation will likely lead to new types of jobs and skill sets.
So maybe it's not about humans versus robots, but humans working alongside digital workers.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to leverage the strengths of both to create a more efficient and productive future.
Well, that's a reassuring thought. It seems like we're on the cusp of a major technological shift. It makes you wonder, will digital workers become as commonplace as smartphones in the future?
It's certainly an intriguing possibility, and with companies like 11x leading the charge, it'll be fascinating to see how this technology evolves and reshapes the world of work. It really does, doesn't it? I mean, will we all have a team of digital workers at our disposal someday?
It's it's a mind-boggling concept. But I gotta admit, I'm a little skeptical. Are these digital workers really capable of handling these, complex tasks, or is it all just hype?
That's fair. I mean, the technology is still evolving, but we're already seeing some, impressive results. For example, there are digital workers being used in finance to automate things like fraud detection and risk assessment. Tasks that used to require teams of human analysts can now be done much faster and more accurately by AI.
Wow, that's pretty remarkable. So you're saying that these digital workers aren't just replacing, like, low-skill jobs. They're actually taking on roles that require, specialized knowledge and expertise.
Exactly. And that's why some experts believe that digital workers will ultimately augment human capabilities rather than completely replace us. It's about creating a more efficient and productive partnership between humans and AI.
That's an interesting perspective. It makes you think of those sci-fi movies where humans and robots work together to, solve complex problems. But what about the ethical implications of all this? Who's responsible when a digital worker makes a mistake? And what about the potential for job displacement?
Those are important questions, and they're being debated right now by, ethicists, policymakers, and tech leaders. There are no easy answers, but it's crucial that we have these conversations as the technology advances. We need to ensure that, digital workers are developed and deployed responsibly, with safeguards in place to protect human interests.
That's a good point. It's like any powerful technology, right? It can be used
Yeah.
for good or for ill. It all depends on how we choose to use it.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for everyone to be aware of these emerging technologies and to, uh, participate in the conversation about their implications. We all have a role to play in shaping the future of work.
I couldn't agree more. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about a phenomenon that's been captivating the retail world, especially in Asia. Have you heard of Singles Day?
Oh, yes. Singles Day. It's like Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined, but on a whole other level. It's absolutely massive, particularly in China.
I've heard it's the biggest shopping day in the world. But tell me, what exactly is Singles Day? And how did it become such a global phenomenon?
It all started in China back in the 1990s as a sort of anti-Valentine's Day celebration for single people. It was a day for them to treat themselves and celebrate their independence. But over the years, it's evolved into this massive online shopping extravaganza. E-commerce giants like Alibaba and JD.com have really capitalized on it, offering incredible deals and promotions.
So it's like a giant online party for single people with a side of shopping frenzy.
Pretty much. And it's not just a one-day thing anymore. It stretches out for weeks, starting as early as October, with pre-sales and promotions ramping up the excitement.
Wow, so it's like a month-long shopping festival.
Yeah,
But with all the economic uncertainty going around, are people really spending that much?
that's the surprising thing. Despite some signs of a slowing economy, early data suggests that Singles' Day sales are actually up this year.
Yeah.
There's a shift happening, though. It's less about luxury brands and more about, personal well-being, fitness, outdoor gear, things like athleisure wear and healthy snacks.
Interesting. So it's like a reflection of uh, changing consumer priorities. People are focusing more on their health and well-being, even in the midst of a shopping frenzy.
Mhm.
But why should we care about this, Singles Day thing here in the West? It sounds very China-centric.
Here's why it matters. Singles Day provides valuable insights into how global brands can adapt and succeed in Asia's diverse retail environments. It's a glimpse into the future of e-commerce, a testing ground for innovative trends like uh, live stream shopping, influencer marketing, and short video-based e-commerce, all pioneered in China.
Ah, so it's like a crystal ball for the future of shopping. I can see why that would be interesting for, businesses looking to tap into those markets. But
Yeah.
what about for the average consumer? Are there any takeaways for our listeners?
Absolutely. Singles Day highlights the growing importance of customer-centric strategies, immersive digital experiences, and, long-format shopping events that build excitement and engagement. It's not just about transactions anymore. It's about creating a whole shopping experience.
So who knows? Maybe we'll see a Singles Day inspired shopping extravaganza here in the West someday soon. It would certainly be interesting to see how it would be adapted for Western audiences.
Stranger things have happened. And who knows what other innovations will emerge from the vibrant e-commerce scene in Asia? It's a space to watch, for sure. But for now, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the rise of digital workers to the global shopping phenomenon of Singles Day.
We certainly have. It's been a fascinating journey through the ever-evolving world of tech. And it just goes to show that there's always something new and exciting to discover. Thanks for joining us on this bite-sized tech adventure.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
Yeah, it's amazing how Singles Day has gone from a simple celebration to a global shopping phenomenon. It really highlights the power of e-commerce
Yeah.
and how it's changing how we shop.
For sure. And it's not just about the huge number of sales. Singles Day has become a showcase for innovation in e-commerce. We're seeing things like augmented reality experiences, and personalized recommendations powered by AI, and even virtual influencers playing a role in driving sales.
Virtual influencers, that's a new one for me. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. Imagine a computer-generated character, often with a unique personality and backstory, and they promote products and interact with consumers online. They might have their own social media accounts, appear in live stream shopping events, or even star in short videos showcasing products.
That's fascinating. So it's like taking influencer marketing to a whole new level. It makes you wonder if we'll ever reach a point where we can't even tell the difference between a real person and a a virtual influencer?
It's definitely a possibility. The technology is advancing so rapidly, and it's getting harder and harder to distinguish between what's real and what's not. But whether they're real or virtual, influencers are playing a, powerful role in shaping consumer behavior, especially in the e-commerce space.
It's incredible how technology is blurring the lines between the physical and digital worlds, from, digital workers automating tasks to virtual influencers shaping our shopping habits. Seems like the future is arriving faster than ever.
It certainly is. And while it's exciting to see these innovations unfold, it's also important to consider their implications and ensure that we're using these technologies responsibly and ethically. But that's a conversation for another deep dive.
Indeed. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from the roller coaster ride of Bitcoin to the innovative world of climate tech, the rise of digital workers, and the global shopping phenomenon of Singles Day. It's been a whirlwind tour of the latest tech trends.
It has, and it's clear that the world of technology is constantly evolving, offering both challenges and opportunities. It's an exciting time to be following these trends and to see how they, shape the future.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this bite-sized tech adventure.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
Thanks for tuning in to Bite-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.